Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pack Walkers Virtual Summit. My name is Rachel Martinez. I am the host of these calls with my partner Andrew Martinez. We have a company here in Los Angeles called the Healing Pack. We're a local pack walking company. And tonight we have some very special guests, Maria and Isla. Honestly, these two women did so much for Andrew and I when we were starting our business together. Like the amount that they shaped our business, how we do business, how we interact with our clients, is really something to be just admired and looked upon. I have been so impressed with the way you two give care to your clients. Like I just gathered so much from how you show up. It's not just with your clients, but with your employees as well. I'm very eager to hear your lecture tonight. Without further ado, I'll give it away. Let me unmute on this one. I think you're good to go. Sweet.
Thank you so much,
you.
Rachel. Yeah. Hi, everyone. We are Isla and Maria, owners of WoofPack. WoofPack is a pack walking and playgroup service in Santa Cruz, California. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of establishing both personal and business core values that can help guide you and your business. We will also touch on some time management techniques that have helped us maintain a better work-life balance and run our business more efficiently. We've been in business for almost 10 years now, which is amazing. And so when we're figuring out what we wanted to chat about on here, we wanted to focus on tools or concepts that we wish that we had in the beginning. We've always had pretty good systems. They've evolved over time too, but we're still changing and growing, and there's always space to learn, which is why this summit has been so inspiring, because I feel like there's takeaways for both people who are just getting into the pack walking industry and companies that have been in this business for a long time. So it's pretty cool to see that this can influence and benefit both of those audiences.
So in order to explain our how, I think it's important to understand our why. When Rachel talked to me about knowing your ancestry, I felt this deeply to my core. I come from a long line of hardworking immigrants. I was brought here from the Philippines when I was 4, not knowing a lick of English. My father, who is still an entrepreneur with various businesses, my mother worked in business management and administration most of her career, Monday through Friday. So my dad was whom you would call now the primary parent. During my formative years, I would go everywhere with him after school, standing in line at the bank, um, attending meetings, the Chamber of Commerce, Lions Club, meeting with vendors, making business deals with clients, etc. And there were no cell phones back then to keep me entertained. So, I was tuned in, I listened, and I learned so much from him. By the time I was 13, I was managing the administrative portion of his office. I was like writing payroll checks and stamping signatures on them because, childcare was expensive, and also genuinely because I enjoyed that type of work. And it's genuinely fun for me, which I know that it's not that case for most people. I have a degree in hospitality management, so I'm very service oriented. I'm literally a professional people pleaser. Fortunately and unfortunately. I was a co-licensee for a preschool where I taught and took care of children for various ages up to 6 years old. I also walked dogs off leash at Fort Funston and Ocean Beach in San Francisco for extra cash as a college student. I was one of the OG dog walkers before it was even cool. My mom still has my old business cards from Staples to prove it. Later, I was a catering director for almost a decade for a Fortune 500 company stationed at various accounts in the Bay Area. One of my bosses, who is still one of my most beloved mentors, nicknamed me Special Ops, and it stuck. On a typical day, I managed about 60 to 120 events, ranging from 2 to 5,000 guests. My days were super long, catering corporate meetings, private events for universities, ballparks, museums, weddings, you name it. By like my 8th year of living in the fast lane, I started realizing that my life wasn't what most people considered normal. Like, what do you mean you didn't work 12 hours a day regularly? You know, in my 20s living in San Francisco, I'd go to work at like 6 or 7 in the morning and then get home around 7 or 8, go to yoga, and then I'd head to the bar for like a whiskey ginger and a shot of Fernet because I heard it was good for your gut. Um, a few games of pool, a sprinkle of dancing in the street, and I'd be home by midnight or so to do it all over the next day. I loved my life and it was killing me. So long story short, I thought to myself, self, what do you really want to do? You know, I think this was the beginning of my journey to better understand my core values and my goals in life. I had this grand idea that I would go to the beach and get a dog. And it was a fantastic idea in theory and completely naive. Yet it was one of those most pivotal moments of my life that, you know, I can't think of my life without it. So, sorry. So here I was thinking I was hot stuff, just turned 28, moving to this coastal town where, you know, you have to drive everywhere, and it was getting dark and quiet by 7 p.m. I knew like 3 people in town, and I thought to myself, well, if there was ever a time to reinvent myself, now would be it. So I rented a room in Live Oak. I told my landlord / roommate during the interview that I wanted to get a dog. And he said, sure, as long as it's not a pit bull. 1 week later, I adopted my Jax. He was a lab mix. He was an American Staffordshire Terrier, as confirmed by Embark. He was my soul dog. He passed away last year, so. Okay, this dog meant everything to me. Jax is the reason why WoofPack exists. All I wanted to do was spend so much time with him and give him all of my energy. But going back to my catering career and now adding at least an hour to my commute each way, I was away from him maybe 15 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. So I did what I thought was right, and I got a dog walker, and enter Isla, who incidentally, Isla worked for the dog walking company I had selected. But as time went on, I kept thinking to myself, why am I paying someone to do what I love? The question became a catalyst for change. And then I started to reassess my life and career, and realizing that my long hours and high stress job weren't sustainable long term. I wanted a life that aligned with my core values: connection, authenticity, and balance. My why is deeply rooted in my personal history, values, and the pivotal moments that continue to shape my journey. Understanding this context is crucial to grasp the how of how we do our business. It's more than just providing services. It's about living a life that reflects our deepest values and passions, and knowing that essentially if you love what you do, it'll show.
It does. So I grew up knowing that I was going to work with animals. That was like obvious from the get-go to my family, because I had an endless stream of dogs and chickens and rodents in my bedroom and backyard.
On your bed.
On the bed, everywhere. They were just everywhere. So before moving here, I had just gotten a degree in wildlife biology, and I helped run a crow cognition study where we took MRIs of crows undergoing different stimulus that they had been exposed to, so that we could better understand their perception as well as communication between individuals. So that was kind of the start of me like really getting deep into trying to understand animals on a deeper level. And at this point, it's more just like observational studies with the dogs. But I always think back to that because like I could write a very long book about just like the dogs in our pack and the dynamics there. So yeah, after some pretty intense hard science, I was ready to get my head out of the books, and I took an open-ended trip to Southeast Asia and India. I'm very grateful for that experience and that I was able to do that. But after 6 months of climbing and swimming and biking and taking trains across those countries, my partner back in Seattle, my now husband, invited me to move with him to Santa Cruz, which sounded great. And after months of living day to day, I decided that was the right time to grow some roots. Um, to this day, like every single day, I'm in awe that I landed in such a sweet spot. I can walk my dogs to the beach and surf 10 minutes away, and I can also bike from my house to amazing mountain biking trails. And so, really lucky for me, it's super easy to fill my cup living here. And working outside was always non-negotiable to me. That was going to happen. So I started walking dogs before and after my second job of helping run a bed and breakfast, but quickly realized that I was far more satisfied doing one of those than the other. Um, I also knew I wanted a dog at this point of being settled. And so we brought home a husky mix named Moose, who's laying behind us,
Snoring.
almost 12 now. And kind of like Maria, like my whole perspective shifted. And all I wanted to do was like figure out how I could create and enjoy more of a life with him. And I'm sure that you have all had that experience where, you know, you realize that you're taking care of another living being and all you want to do is do right by them. Um, I'm on the introverted scale. If you can't tell, I don't love public speaking and
Nor I.
and appreciated how this line of work made it easy to connect with people over a shared love of dogs, and also put me out of my comfort zone, like now and like during our community pack walks and things like that. So um sorry. Maria and I are totally different people and personalities. And I also really appreciated that our dynamic had this balance to it. And I think we could both tell from the beginning that like it was going to work for a long time, and it has. Um,
Oh.
yeah. So Maria, the business, and especially the dogs have taught me so much over the years. And this has been like this summit has been a cool time to reflect and think about where we came from.
Yeah, okay. So WoofPack, our company. We like to think of it as a social club for dog. As Isla mentioned, we're now on our official 10th year on the books. We currently have 10 employees. Actually, it was more like pre-COVID, but you know how that goes. With 5 of them being full-time. Our general manager, Yukio, is my husband. Hi, babe. And he's watching our son Zay right now, who's a bit under the weather. Otherwise, you'd probably see him in this lecture playing with Legos in the background. Love you. We also have 2 incredible supervisors, Soad and Jordan, who are extremely dedicated to our craft, and we're very fortunate to have them in our crew. Our drivers and assistants are the nuts and bolts of our company. And if you've ever contacted us for initial services in the last 10 years, you might have received a message from Laura, who's our admissions coordinator. She's been with us from the beginning, from the gate, 10 years ago, and has been an incredible resource for us, managing initial contacts and helping protect our peace. So Laura, if you're listening to this probably later, thank you. We appreciate you. When I say we consider these people our family, we mean it. Coming from a corporate background for so long, it was imperative for me to encourage my staff to speak up for themselves and what they believe in so that we can learn more. We're a women-owned business. I'm a person of color, and I really wanted to build an inclusive company that embraces diversity within our organization across the board. We want our employees to know that we value their time and their effort, and above all, we care. When we first started walking dogs together, Isla and I would go on multiple walks a day, but quickly found that it was extremely draining. We would pick up new dogs that would be at the peak of their energy, and it felt like you know, when we dropped them off, they weren't super fulfilled. I have a background in childcare as well as, among other things, right? So I suggested to Isla that we switch to a full day program, keeping the same pack for an entire day and giving them more structured walks. We found this to be more mentally satisfying for the dogs. And as our pack aged, we added a daycare service. It started out as prime time and it was just them. But then these puppies, the puppies needed help. So then we started having, you know, combo days so that we can have a puppy training program that prepared them for hiking camp. It was really based on the need of our current situation, and it just kind of like built itself. We try to attend big seminars every year and learn from as many experts in our field as possible, always bringing back snippets of genius to incorporate into our program. I'm also in the process of getting certified in service dog training. Please don't refer me, mainly because I'm interested in the topic and I just want to train my puppy Kuma to be my service dog for ADHD and anxiety. I'm very open about my journey with mental illness. If anyone out there wants to learn more about that, feel free to send us a message and we can talk about that offline. If it has been proven across many professions that having multiple mentors creates more well-rounded and successful businesses. So we always recommend continued learning to local companies in our area. That's actually how we met Rachel and Andrew. One day I tweaked my back really bad when we were pack walking. I was pack walking a Jag's Terrier, and I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's like a Jack Russell Terrier on steroids. And it saw like a squirrel or something, and I just went, "Whoop," and it was wild. In all the years that I've been doing this, I've only fallen like what 3 times, but that one hurt. I went on Instagram that evening and I searched through the hashtags for dog walkers and came across the Healing Pack miraculously. I went on their website, I hit them up, and I just remember sitting in my car at Trader Joe's parking lot downtown, just chatting with Rachel for like an hour, talking shop and enjoying the vibes, and said, "Hey, you know, I'm really good with business stuff. Can you teach me how to pack walk and I'll help you with your business?" And, you know, honestly, the rest is history. I love them so much. Rachel and Andrew are some of my favorite people on the planet, and I'm very, very grateful to know and love them both on a personal and professional level. Okay, that's enough. Love, love, love.
So, just as our program has evolved over time, we have found certain practices that have made us more successful over the years. And by successful, I mean not monetarily. I mean having a healthy
Not
work-
monetarily.
Yeah, no, no, but you know that helps you. But I mean having a healthy work-life balance and also being able to provide employment for a thriving and happy team. Those are the things that we have decided to prioritize.
Yeah.
And there have been growing pains, and sometimes it's easier than others. And we go through waves of rebuilding.
We do.
But one of the most helpful practices to get us where we wanted to be was establishing core values that we use to guide us.
So core values help us define our boundaries and understand how we prioritize what truly matters to us. They act as a compass guiding our decision-making process. Core values are principles or ideas that you cherish and want to dedicate your energy towards. On a personal level, they help you shape your character, and for your company, they contribute to fostering a desired culture. For me, my personal core values are connection, authenticity, and balance. These values define who I am and what I stand for. I use them to set intentions for my goals, my families, anyway, businesses, financial investments, and how I engage in my community. For example, like when I went to my financial advisor, one of the first questions that she asked me was about my values, and that information helped her advise me on my personal goals. of moving forward because it ensured that my investment strategies and financial decisions aligned with what I truly cared about. So same with you, when you think about it in that way. It's important to note that your goals can change over time and it's okay to adjust them based on different phases of life, embrace the season for sure. However, your core values typically remain constant. They are the enduring principles that inspire you to take action.
So my personal core values are optimism, adventure, empathy, and community. Some of these concepts I am naturally drawn to, and others I strive to be or embody. For example, I've always been optimistic since I was a kid. It honestly, it's not always the best trait, and to some people it's annoying, and I can see that. But it
We
feels,
still love you.
yeah, it still feels true to myself, so it's on there. Alternatively, I've become more empathetic over the time, partly in because of the dogs, and I hope to continue and to grow into that trait. So that's what I'm working towards. You can also think about what sparks joy or what makes you tick. Um, you know, for me, when I prioritize community and contribute my energy towards that, it's really fulfilling. I spent a lot of time training dogs in search and rescue to quite literally help people and save people in our community. So think about what do you gravitate towards and what has worth to you. Um, Adventure is my last core value, and that's really important to my mental well-being. I love going backpacking and fully disconnecting. I need to go on trips where I'm totally out of service and I'm walking in the wilderness for like a week at a time, which doesn't sound recharging to some people, but it's like, I need to do it. It's a need. So yeah, but that's not always an easy thing to plan. So I like to practice having the mindset that my normal day-to-day routines are like little mini adventures. So for example, walking in the redwoods with our pack can fulfill my adventure category. And this is kind of like Jesse's gratitude walks, just like being aware that our everyday is actually pretty awesome is a good practice. So for WoofPack, we have our own business core values, those being safe social engagement. All of these are very important to us and should not and will not be compromised. So we are extremely safety oriented in the terms of the dogs. Like honestly, it's pretty much over the top.
We're extra.
We're
It's
very
okay.
extra about it.
Okay.
So yeah, we're like paranoid about heat and hydration on our hikes. Our sanitation is next level. Like our vans and our boarding quarters are very, very clean. And overall, we're just like really protective of the health of the pack. Along the same lines of safe, the mental health and well-being of our employees is of vast importance to us. So we're proud that we have created a safe space for them and for them to express themselves freely and to really be themselves. For social, like the most obvious is that we are social clubs for dogs. We provide a space for the dogs to be social. But we also provide structure, and that sort of support and guidance in itself is a social structure. And many of you guys have mentioned this progression, but we used to take pretty much any dog. And then we'd get like,
we were addicted.
Yeah, we got like attached to the idea of like helping and rehabbing dogs.
It was not good.
Yeah, like some of these dogs did not want to be in a pack of dogs. So now we do not do that. We only take social dogs. That is what we want. So
yeah,
we have found that when you put a concept out there, for example, written out as your core values, it's more likely to gravitate towards you. So yeah, our last value, engagement. This is the expectation that we are always to be engaging with the dogs throughout the whole experience. This doesn't mean we're like having conversations with them, engaging the typical, no, it's actually quite the opposite. So we strive to always be present with them and fairly communicate our expectations in ways that they understand. We also, this is kind of a little different. We always like teaching the dogs new skills and games. Like it's
Just for fun.
yeah, it's something new for us. And there's also something cool just watching them make connections until it ticks. So that's just like part of our program that we really enjoy. As part of engagement, we are also often interacting with our community, not just our clients, but local businesses and nonprofits. I do a weekly pack walk with the shelter dogs to get them stimulation and get them on our social media. And we often partner with our county shelter to run fundraising events for them. So that's a big part of our engagement. And then the last aspect is that we're constantly interacting with the public when we're out on our hikes. We try to make it a good interaction. Some people make it harder than others to do so, but ideally we want them walking away with a positive concept of pack walking, especially because this is a growing industry and there's more pack walkers out there. So we want people to see us and we want them to think, wow, what a great, safe, social engagement for the dogs.
You got that? That's good. That's good. That's good. Along with core values, we want to share some key practices, which we wish we had when we first started. Remember, staying busy isn't always synonymous with being productive. It's crucial to create boundaries with your clients, to respect your time and establish a sustainable schedule. We're in it for the long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Success and fulfillment come from consistent, sustained effort over time, not quick fixes or immediate gratification. This mindset helps us navigate changes and setbacks with resilience, knowing our dedication and perseverance will ultimately pay off. By focusing on long-term goals and staying true to our core values, we can achieve lasting impact and satisfaction in both our personal and professional lives. It's surprising how helpful it is to think about these concepts on a deeper level, especially when you're unsure about a new opportunity or endeavor. Like, is this going to be a good thing for us? We try to reevaluate our core values and our goals at every transition and every time we make a decision to reensure we are in alignment with them. We invite you to do the same. Debbie mentioned being people pleasers, and we've definitely struggled with that in the past. However, we've recently implemented changes that have hugely been beneficial to the company, and we were worried that our clients' perception was like, I don't know, but most were supportive. And for those who weren't, we discussed alternatives individually, and they were good with that. So we strive to be firm yet fair, and we designed this program with the belief that it should be something we would want and continue to and could afford for our own dogs. So building a community and establishing trust with professionals in your local area are essential, especially for times when you need to step away. We're fortunate to have each other to rely on, but if you do not have a partnership, this becomes even more crucial for maintaining balance. Similarly, don't be afraid to completely close for a break. Your clients will understand. Looking at the bigger picture, don't compromise your joy for the job.
We have our summer break coming up soon.
I know.
So it is also good to know which tasks to delegate out to staff and other professionals. Be aware of the value of your time and utilize the skills of other people. Maria comes from a business background and is very strong in networking and marketing, whereas I'm more apt to handle a large amount of details and really love the logistics sides of things. We've had staff in the past that have been super supportive and like great content creators for our social media. And like, I would be happy to not touch social media at all if that was an option. I know it's not, but I see its value, but still. Anyway, my point is that we're not going to just switch up these roles all willy-nilly. Like, do what makes sense for you.
Yeah.
So next we wanted to get into the task management life hacks that may help you feel less overwhelmed. We've families to help us, so it's just
Yeah.
little hints here and there.
Life
So,
hacks.
life hack. So create daily rituals that keep you consistent. This goes back to habit forming, which is super hard at first, but once you get in reps of doing your work shifts, it can become like more second nature and predictable to your body almost. So it's good to have the right systems in place, like easy to digest information for like interfacing on your scheduling and invoicing and bookkeeping, but just having everything be really consistent
Streamline it.
and streamline it. Yeah. So identify what you need to work on for the day. This is called a brain dump. And at the beginning of the day, you write everything you want to accomplish and you can prioritize it later. I have a note tab in my phone and my brain dump naturally occurs while I'm laying in bed sometimes. So it's good to have it on the phone. And then later I write it out in a planner because I always need to write things down. Craft space, that planner is in a space that I like to work. So you craft spaces that spark creativity. Clear the area, make it visually pleasing to stay a while. That's proper lighting, ventilation, and auditory. So some people turn on music that sets the pace for their work, and others want like background noise or no noise and need their earplugs in to zone in. So just experiment with these different options and you might surprise yourself. I always like to like prep a cup of tea too, like and have a snack on hand. So you're like not being thinking that you need to get up and get that
Like
stuff.
eat a snack and then have a snack. Make
Yeah.
sure you have two.
Little reward. So identify and limit distractions. Distractions are normal and inevitable, but just try to set yourself up for a win. An easy example is like if I need to finish something, I'm going to choose to crate my dog. That way she's not potentially interrupting me with like puppy eyes. Like she's crated right now, so she doesn't bother us.
Sorry, Gecko.
Yeah. So figure out when you're most productive. Um, Embrace the tides of focus. I really want to be a productive morning person in my head, but I'm not. Like, that's just not me. So I need to move my body first and get some energy out. And then when I feel at peace, I'm able to settle and work a whole lot more efficiently in the evening.
Yeah. So, okay, break large tasks into smaller ones in order to stay successful. We often get overwhelmed by viewing like large, big picture projects and goals, but it's much easier, much more digestible to split them up into specific tasks. Group meetings, if possible. You can get, like, for example, how we interview, we like to interview a bunch all in one day. You can get into the meeting mindset and accomplish the part of your task where others rely on your contribution. This can provide more relief and free up your energy to work on more individual tasks. Schedule your time blocks. Make time for creativity. What may be important work might not be considered urgent, like it's not your to do at the top priority. So often my brainstorming sessions have been far more impactful than my productivity time blocks. So pauses are the secret to being productive without burnout. So block off personal time. It's okay to be unavailable. I mean, obviously tell people first. But like, yeah, it's okay to be unavailable. Rest, sleep, do hobbies. These are proven methods for improving performance. Decharge to recharge. Allow for unexpected interruptions for work. Set timers. I have an app called Focus Timer where it gives me 4 blocks of 25-minute working, 5 minutes of, rest. And then it does that 4 times. And then it gives me a 30-minute break. And then it does it again. And that's like how my days typically go. And while I'm in those 25-minute focused blocks, I like to put a notebook next to me that I like to call my distractions list. And what I do is I will, anything that comes to mind while I'm trying to do that, I will write it on here because for some reason, that's what gives me anxiety. It's like, I'm going to forget, I'm going to forget. So I write it down and then I just leave it. And then when it comes to my break time of those 5 minutes, I try to do as many of those things on my distractions list as possible, because that then like pumps dopamine into me, because I'm like, yes, cross, yes, yes, you know,
It's a
and
callback to you enjoying work.
yeah.
That's great. Sorry. Those are really
Anyways.
great.
Yeah, but anyways, you know, it is what it is. It recharges me. So anyways, plan for lost time. Give yourself a buffer for transitions. We're constantly on the move in this profession, and just blocking off transition times as dead zones creates a more practical map of your time management. So for example, once I get somewhere, I give myself like a 5 minute buffer to, like, you know, play with my phone or whatever it is that you need to do to just like, you know, and then move on. Um, Adjust as needed. If you find yourself in a rut with the work, reassess your practices and try something new to mix it up. Um, Above all, take care of yourself, because no one else is going to do this for you. Remember that you're in it for the long game. Do things that set your soul on fire and delegate the rest. This brings us to our last portion, which is Bird Dog Management Company. It's Bird Dog is a branch of our program. It's kind of like a secret menu thing that we dedicate to virtual assisting and management support. We provide consulting, HR, business management support. We've been doing that for years now with other businesses by word of mouth, and they kind of just come to us and they're like, hey, can you help us with this, this, and this? And we're like, yeah. Anyways, we are now putting it out there to be more widely available. And we basically offer the range of services that can tailor our support to meet individual needs. So for example, we provide large scale management consulting for new businesses. We People who are looking to revamp their current operations, as well as day-to-day virtual administrative support for tasks like responding to client calls and emails and scheduling and bookkeeping and invoicing and marketing, you know, all the things that you don't want to do. Basically, we like doing it, so it's kind of our thing. And then, you know, outsourcing these business management tasks means that you don't need to add another person to your payroll specifically for support duties. We charge hourly with a 5-hour minimum per week for admin support, which is often sufficient for us. And then we just like invoice it to you, and that's it. Um, just like think about how valuable your time is and how few hours we have in a day. Wouldn't it just like be nice for someone to who like cares about the success of your business as much as you do, like helping you, you know? I find that to be one of the most beneficial things that we can offer, honestly. I mean, it's not just for pack walkers either. We do this for other companies as well. So feel free to reach out to us at WoofPack831@gmail.com. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you need help with. We'll set up a 30-minute virtual chat with you and your business, and then we'll share how we can best support you. In the words of Miss Rachel, whom I adore and love, she's a speech therapist who created an online show for kids for her son who has like early speech delays. She started with the basics, you know, she was just like an ordinary mom or however you call it. And now she's reached over like 10 billion views. She gave a commencement speech last month, and her final words were these: find your role to play and show up. You don't need to wait for anyone else to show up. When you see a need, when you see an injustice, a way the world could be better. Use your unique gifts and talents you have to serve the world. We don't know what will happen, but we guarantee nothing will change if we don't try. The one you are waiting for to change the world, the one with the power and the genius and the vision, it's you. Thank you.
Thank you. We did it. That's it.
Amazing job, ladies. That was super valuable. I mean, just like so much tucked in there. And you know, as someone personally who has used your services and worked with the two of you, like it's just invaluable. And look, I'm gonna say it right now. This will be watched on the replay. I'm gonna lovingly call out what I see a lot of people do, where they're posting to their social media talking about and making excuses about taking a week to get back to people. Like
Yeah.
I understand like it's overwhelming, and to be fair, like it takes a level of surrender to allow someone else to service your clients in the way that you think only you can do. And like
Right.
it's just
Absolutely.
it makes your business be so much, the quality goes up immensely, the customer service, the way your clients feel taken care of and responded to like quickly. There's just it adds such a just so much more quality into your business and the way that you do things, and a level of professionalism that really keeps people loyal to you as well.
Absolutely. I really feel that to my core. And, when we show up for ourselves, we can show up for others. And this is really what it comes down to. Like, if you love what you do, pack walking, training, and whatnot, if you don't love the administrative portion of that, like, delegate that out, because it's not for you. And you really shouldn't have to like put so much more information into your brain when you just want to focus on your passions, and we're good with it.
Yeah, and like there's a reason why when you don't like to do things like admin that it feels like shit doing it. Like because you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be doing it. It's not for
Right.
you, and like it's not that you need to learn how to do everything yourself. And like I've heard I like I did a call with another service that was like basically implying that like as the owner I needed to learn how to do everything myself, and I was like I just don't agree with this on any like core value level. This is just a no for me. You got to delegate to elevate. If it lights me up, beautiful. I totally
Yes,
am on
girl.
board for that. But like, if it's not, why would I be wasting my time with that shit? That just like sucks my energy out. And then I really have less to give to everything that I actually do enjoy doing.
Absolutely, 100%. For sure.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and allow people to unmute themselves if you'd like to hop on and give some feedback or ask a question. You guys are getting a ton of love in the chat box. I'm not sure if you're able to see it.
Oh, we haven't, but thank you. Yeah, we're not like, speakers. We're not like people who do this. It's actually really scary to do this. But you know what? It's so needed. The information needs to be out there. And the service is so valuable. And, there's people who can, you know, speak out and, be the face of their business. And it's wonderful. And we want to support you. That's really what it comes down to. So it's not us, we don't do that, but we can help.
Help you do it.
I love that. Michelle says, way to go, gals. Sierra says, ah, love all of this. Thank you. Jesse says, love this. Shauna says, great lecture. Thanks. And just to reiterate one more time, Jesse was just asking basically like how they can get in contact with you, where they can find your information.
Good.
Yeah, so just email us at WoofPack831, and then we will send you like the secret menu thing from the bird dog portion of it.
It's WoofPack, WoofPack 831 @gmail.com. We're also on Instagram. We're also on Facebook, and our website is WoofPack831.com.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you two so much for just like your time and energy today, all of the value that you share. And I mean, just like, thank you again for everything that you've done for the healing pack. Like you've just forever shaped how we run business. Like I really just honestly aspire to lead in the way that the two of you do. Like the level of care, honestly, just like on your staff level, how your people stay loyal to you, like just because of the level of care that you give. And if I can just offer one more thing, one thing that I really learned from the two of you was like when I first became a business owner, I wanted to take care of the staff in the way that like I wanted to be taken care of. And you two really taught me about understanding how my staff wanted to be taken care of and motivating them in the way that made sense to them. And like really just being able to hold a
Yes.
different context around leadership and what it means for them to be supported, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's because we feed them, but
That tends to keep them happy, but it's true, like, you have to have, but like, we have the business hat on, but it's, you have to keep the perspective that, you know, these are people we want to fulfill also, and like, we're pretty proud that we can create jobs for people that can keep them enjoying their life.
And to circle back on what you were saying, it's all about love languages. It's like, how do you perceive the you know someone acknowledging their your purpose and your value. I think that that's really important for businesses to understand, that just because you're giving them like a free marker or whatever, like that's not like the free bag with the name on it.
It's a
That's,
party.
yeah, no, they don't want that. You gotta have to like dig deeper and really think about the individuals that you have on your team.
Absolutely. Amazing. Well, thank you two so much again for sharing. Thank you for
Thank
everyone for
you.
attending and have a beautiful rest of your evening.
Thank you. Mwah. Love you,
Love
Rach.
you.